Good afternoon and congratulations for coming this far in the year 2020. Despite the challenges, and for the Christian family, happy Christmas celebrations. With some rice and chicken on the table, accompanied by one chilled wine, I guess. That is on a lighter note. COVID-19, NSAS, and a lot of other negative events took the best part out of the year 2020. Nigeria, like many other countries, was literally a caged nation. But how did the National Assembly, especially the Senate, survive the year 2020? And what are some of the projections for the year 2021? And of course, quick check on some assumptions for the year 2023 general elections. Former President Goodluck Jonathan and President Muhammadu Buhari also had some moments within the week, while Ebonyi State Governor David Umahi also set a banquet for political harmony. Welcome to Political Update, and my guest is a professor and a ranking member in the Senate. You will meet him only on one condition, that is, if you stay back on this channel. Nigeria has promised to give robust support to Republic of Niger as the neighboring country prepares for presidential and National Assembly elections. President Muhammadu Buhari made the promise while receiving in audience former Vice President Namadi Sambo, who heads ECOWAS election mission to West African nation. The president also granted audience to former President Goodluck Jonathan on the political situation in the Gambia.
Of the Gambia invited us to participate in a little political stalemate bordering on a new constitution. And that I was asked as an extension of the job I've already been doing at the instance of the president and other ECOWAS heads of state. So I came back last night, and I will finish our first set of discussions. We'll continue in January. So I just come to brief Mr. President about that, because we need to know details about the issues. We are progressing, but we have not concluded. But we are hopeful that we'll conclude it properly.
What have been the challenges?
It's human. They are political. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Ebonyi State Governor Chief David Umahi has asked Nigerians to unite and support President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. Governor Umahi made the appeal in a Christmas dinner organized for members of the two major political parties in the state, the All Progressives Congress (APC) and the People's Democratic Party.
They remain indelible in our hearts. I don't know what is called party. I don't know why somebody will carry party and carry bitterness. I encourage this kind of union, this kind of gathering. It doesn't make less of APC to interact with PDP members. It doesn't make less of PDP to interact with other political party members. Why the bitterness?
We are seeing the last level. And our brothers, the PDP, we still love you people.
On behalf of my party, the PDP, to appreciate you for this show of love and kindness to us tonight.
That is quite interesting. But the major topic we'll be discussing today on Political Update is the Senate in the year 2020. How did the Senate fare in the year 2020? And to do justice to that topic, I have with me in the studio the Senate Deputy Majority Leader, Professor Senator Ajayi Burofis. You are welcome to Political Update.
Thank you.
The main topic for us today is the Senate under the year 2020. But that clip we just watched, I think we need to just briefly discuss on that. Two major political parties, the PDP and the APC in Ebonyi State, having a dinner together on the same table. As a politician, what do you make of it?
Well, I think it's a welcome development because whether you're in PDP or you're in
APC. We are all Nigerians. We're all working further for the people of Nigeria. We all want to bring dividends of democracy to our people. We're only using different platforms. And so at a point in time, we have to agree with ourselves to operate in harmony and to allow peace to reign. And I think that is what the Governor Umahi has done. In a situation where there's a rancor, where there's a disagreement among the polity, of course, progress will be restricted. Progress will not be achievable. So what he has done is commendable, and I hope that other governors will do the same.
Okay, so let's come to the main issue why we are here. That is the Senate. Yeah. You are a ranking member in the Senate. From the records, I'm correct, since 2011, you have been in the Senate, a very ranking member, and today you are the Deputy Senate Majority Leader. So, but the year 2020 was quite different from others because of the COVID and the disruptions even you guys had in the Senate. What are some of those moments that are regrettable in the year 2020 in relation to the activities in the Senate?
Well, before I answer that question, let me first of all wish you Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance. Not only Christians, but all Nigerians, that we have been able to survive to this moment. Your question is, what are the regrettable moments of 2020? It's unfortunate that we were engaged in a warfare by a virus called COVID-19, which we cannot see with our naked eye. And it's so powerful that it affected and crippled the economy of the strongest nation in the world, the United States of America. So when we were faced with the same problem, we had to look inward to adjust our programs to see how we're going to cope. All the things we set up to do, haven't approved the 2020 budget, in September 2019, hoping that everything will flow, and the executive will be able to operate the 2020 budget according to what we approved in the appropriation bill. Unfortunately, COVID-19 just came like a tsunami and destroyed everything, and so we have to go back to the drawing board. The international oil price went down, nosedived. But let me tell you that there was a time we couldn't even sell our oil. Our oil, the crude, was in the high sea in vessels that were on lease to Nigeria. There was a time when the demurrage on the vessel was higher than the cost of the fuel. So we're looking for people to take the crude so that we can pay off our demurrage. So it's that bad. But under the guidance and leadership of President Muhammad Buhari, we were able to survive, to readjust and keep the economy going, do palliative measures, do some, adjustment to help, industries and trades to move on. And I think one should give credit to him, because he set up the PTF, the Presidential Task Force, to look at the issue of COVID-19. And the Senate worked hand in hand with the PTF. We're virtually meeting once every week with the PTF, with the General Manager of NNPC, with the Governor of CBN, with the Minister for Finance, with National Planning, to see how we can put our heads together and make sure that the economy is going and that Nigerians do not suffer.
Okay, so how would you describe the relationship between the Senate, the National Assembly, and that of the executive? Some people say it's more or less rubber stamped. Which school of thought do you belong there?
Well, I don't know what it means by rubber stamp. You must know that people in the National Assembly are people with honor and integrity. But the problem we have in Nigeria is that we believe that the National Assembly must be in opposition to the executive. It should not be so. The federal government is made up of the judiciary, the legislature, and the executive. So we're part of government.
And the checks and balances.
Yes, checks and balances. We have to work with the executive to make sure that the country is moving. And if the executive and the legislature are on the same page, they are working toward the same, goal, interest, and objective of the people that elected us. Of course, we have to agree. But if there are situations where we have to disagree, we disagree without disrupting, the structure, without disrupting governance. So we are not rubber stamps. We mean well for this nation. We don't want a repeat of what happened in the 8th Assembly, when the Senate was at loggerhead with the executive, and the country was at a standstill. That is not good for us as a nation. We looked at it, and when we drew up our legislative agenda at the beginning of the 9th Assembly, we made up our mind we were going to work closely with government. You could see that we were able to reverse the budget cycle, which had been problematic for over a decade. We were able to reverse it to January, December. And we received cooperation from Mr. President. Mr. President said no minister, no DG must travel out until they have defended their budget. Yeah. The same thing this year. We have passed the budget, so it's awaiting the assent of Mr. President. So this is the type of cooperation I think one should appraise, and one should, show that Nigeria is working with the executive.
Distinguished, during the NSAS protests, there was this protest also that the members of the National Assembly, their salaries are very bogus. How true is that?
Well, I don't know. I think there's a body that is responsible for fixing salaries, like any public servant. We don't fix our salaries. But we must know that when the COVID started, we all unanimously agreed to donate 50% of our salary to support government efforts in addressing the COVID-19 pandemic. So there's transparency in the system. Anybody that wants to know how much a senator earns should go to the responsible, the government agency that is fixing salary. We do not fix our salary, but I won't tell you this how much I earn. I know that for my own salary is less than 1 million a month. Less than 1 million. And is this
as a senator of the Federal Republic? That comes to your account every month?
Yes.
It's less than 1 million?
Less than 1 million.
Okay.
So what people are talking of, dressing allowance, car allowance, dog allowance, it doesn't happen.
Okay, I think that is more or less your private issue, but I think you gave me the permission to get into your room. Okay, let's come back. You joined the Senate 2011, and you are a ranking member, and we also have ranking bills in the Senate. For instance, the PIB. Since 2007, that bill was forwarded, been going back and forth between the executive and the legislature. And many were expecting that probably before the end of 2020, that bill will see the light of day. Are you still keeping that bill in the shelves?
Yeah, in our legislative agenda for the 9th Assembly, the PIB is a priority, and we started working on it. We knew the pitfall in the past that made it impossible for it to be passed. But we are taking care of those, and I can assure you that before the end of the 9th Assembly, the PIB Act will be passed.
Okay, I read your profile before coming on stage, and you became a senator of the Federal Republic in 2011 under the platform of the Labour Party, I guess. Mm-hmm. And after build up to the 2015 elections, there was this merger that gave birth to APC, and you became a member of the APC. That shows some level of ideology in your political career. And we are going to 2023. Projections have been made already. As a foundation member of the APC, do you have any fear about your party going for the 2023 elections in terms of internal democracy and all that? Or do you have any advice that will lead to its success?
For my party?
Yes.
Oh, we are still the APC is still the stronger party in Nigeria today, and maybe the stronger party in Africa. Every political party has its own problem. Our opposition party, I wouldn't want to mention the name, they have a serious internal problem. We are trying to reorganize the party. We have a caretaker committee, at the helm of Afia. The reforms we are making in the party is percolating down to the state, to the local government, to the wards. And at the end of it, when we have our Congress, we are going to have a brown, new, and improved APC that will be going into 2023 very strong and very formidable.
Okay, about the Congress you are talking about.
Yes.
what advice would you give to delegates? Because by June 30th, 2020 or rather, following the extension of the current caretaker committee chairman,
yes,
we'll be going for the national convention. But before then, state and wards and local governments will carry out their congresses.
Yes.
What advice would you give to delegates?
Well, we after registration, then there'll be Congress, and we hope that the guideline in accordance with our party constitution will be followed. Once it is followed, we don't have problem with the congresses. The problem is that the party constitution, as enshrined in our constitution, the party guidelines enshrined in our constitution, have not been followed because of maybe individual interest. But in this case, I think the party is determined that the guidelines that will be given in accordance with our party constitution will be followed. And I think everybody will be happy with that, and I'm sure that the outcome will be, of course, the INEC will also be involved.
You graduated with a second-class upper.
Yeah.
Then second-class upper was like a first class. I guess in University of Ibadan?
Yes.
You got admission to study geology, but later you changed to zoology.
Yes.
Then, today you are a professor of genetics, I guess.
Yes.
Okay, meaning you have been in the academics for a while.
Yes.
ASU just called off strike now. As a former colleague or still a colleague in the university teaching profession, going forward, what advice would you give as students prepare to go back to the classes and lecturers? What advice would you give to both federal government and ASU so that we will not experience such frequent strikes?
I will plead with ASU to realize that they occupy a very important position in the life of this country, training young children to become leaders of tomorrow. And in doing so, a lot of sacrifice is required. I have been a lecturer for a long time. A lot of sacrifice is required. And they must be ready to listen to the side of government. Well, the problem we have mainly in the university system is that we have about three arms. You have the academia, we have the top senior administration, then we have the junior staff. And of course, it is the academia that determines what the university looks like. So when they are asking for some remunerations, once they are given, the other one will tag on with. Of course, their functions are different. And the government will find a way of partitioning those things so that when you are dealing with ASU, you are dealing with ASU. When you are dealing with NASU, you are dealing with NASU. NASU cannot claim to be doing the same thing with the ASU. And in this time now of everything, the issue of heavy supporting button will be reduced because you can hold meeting on Zoom. You can do many things electronically, so you don't need all these supporting groups. So we can gradually reduce the number of people in NASU, in all those things, so that you concentrate. I work with a department in even a faculty abroad, and the whole faculty depends on only one secretary, only one, photocopy machine. When you need to photocopy anything, you do it in your room, you send it to the machine, then you go and pick it. So, every situation where every head of department, every faculty has a secretary, the other must go. If we're able to do things electronically by ourselves, the academia. So I think that will help the situation.
Okay, the name Professor Ajayi Boroface is synonymous with many agencies when it comes to the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology. For instance, National Space Research and Development Agency, National Biotechnology Development Agency, National Information Technology Development. You have made your marks there. And we are going into a world of ICT. How would you assess the current situation of things in some of those agencies, because you were once heading some of those agencies?
Well, I think they have been moving very well along the tide of changes, in science and technology. We may not be at the frontiers of, research and development. But within the resources available, I think the agencies are doing their best. Biotechnology is doing its best in some areas. The space agency is doing its best, and the information technology is doing its best. You can see that the ICT has percolated down, beyond what it was when we started. It shows that many people are now accepting and utilizing the technology in business, in banking, in education. And I think as time goes on, the percolation will go further, and we begin to enjoy the dividends of ICT. So I think we are doing our best, and we have made good progress.
Okay, that is on a lighter note anyway, because we have just about 2 or 3 minutes more to go. You're always on whites.
Yes.
And I become curious.
Don't be curious. If you go to Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 8, it says, "Let your garment be white always, and do not let your head lack oil." The white garment is a symbol of internal purity and integrity. And it reminds you all the time that this is what you stand for. So there's nothing about it. People say maybe I'm a member of a cult. I don't belong to any cult. The only cult I belong to is the cult of Jesus Christ. So I don't belong to any cult. But I enjoy wearing white. It's expensive to maintain it, but it's good.
You were born in 1949.
Yes.
That means you are 71 years old.
Yes.
And you have been in the political circle for quite a while, 2011 till date.
Right.
Do you have further plans?
It's God that decides. But the Bible says promotion does not come from the east or the west, from the north or the south, but it's from God. So it is when God calls you and gives you an assignment, then you do it. So
the material time will define whether or not.
Politicians don't retire. So I'm not retiring. But
for now,
I'm not retiring.
It's been a very engaging moment with a ranking member in the Senate, Senator Ajayi Boroface. He is the Senate Deputy Majority Leader, and I think that is the much we can take on today's edition of Political Updates. As you celebrate the Christmas and end-of-year activities, be conscious of COVID-19. If you are not feeling well, seek medical advice. That is the much we can take on this special day of Political Update. My name is Mie Ogede.